Dan, this week we're going to be discussing for the third time the identity of the three angels, or the three men, or possibly Yahweh and two angels.
Okay.
And I think
third time's a charm.
Yeah, we've been putting some pieces together, and we've had some time to cover a number of passages, and I'm going to make a claim that I have a definitive answer.
Whoa. I don't know if we've had any definitive answers so far.
We answer and ask lots of questions, but we don't often put a stake in the ground and say this is the correct answer.
This is our stake.
I am going to make the bold claim that the three visitors were a combination of Yahweh himself manifested in some human form, along with two angels. And you suggested earlier that they were angels of death, and I am going to agree with that.
Okay.
Now,
I like it. When you agree with me. All right.
I do agree, and I think there's a couple passages that will make it quite clear. So let's get right into those. Genesis 18, in verses 16 through 19, it says, "When the men got up to leave, they looked down towards Sodom, and Abraham walked along with them to see them on their way. Then the Lord," this is Yahweh here, "said, 'Shall I hide from Abraham what I am about to do? Abraham will surely become a great and powerful nation, and all nations on earth will be blessed through him. For I have chosen him so that he will direct his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord,'" Yahweh, now he's speaking about himself in third person, "by doing what is right and just, so that the Lord," Yahweh, "will bring about for Abraham what he has promised." Now, setting aside some of the third person language there, we see clearly that both the narrator is referring to the people speaking as Yahweh. So it's either, at this point, we have to assume he's speaking to one of the three members, or speaking about all three members in some form of unity. I'm saying, though, that he's not speaking to or about all three, that he's actually speaking to one of those three members. It goes on in verse 20. It says, in 18:22, it says, "The men turned away and went towards Sodom, but Abraham remained standing before the Lord. Then Abraham approached him and said, 'Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked?'" And we discussed this previously, basically saying it appears like the two men, or the two angels manifesting as men, are separate from Yahweh. They carry on to go towards Sodom to condemn it, or to possibly condemn it, and then Yahweh the Lord stays behind, and then there's discussion. In 33, it says, "The Lord had finished speaking to Abraham. He left, and Abraham returned home." So the Lord stayed behind, which is why the Lord was still able to speak with Abraham. So nowhere, again, in this narrative are those two specific angels ever referred to as Yahweh by the narrator or by anybody in the story. Those two angels are referred to either as angels or to men or lords, but not Yahweh's. But guess what? Yahweh does turn up one more time in the narrative. In verse 23, it says, "By the time Lot reached Zoar, the sun had risen over the land. Then the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from Yahweh out of the heavens." So I think this is kind of the nail in the coffin, that Yahweh went back to the heavens so he could exact his judgment from the heavens by raining down the sulfur, brimstone, and destruction, while the two angels were remaining on the earth.
Okay.
Is that solid proof? Do we think do we need more?
Then no, we don't need more.
I thought that was pretty conclusive, right?
Yes.
Okay.